I am Pragya, and I bring to you excerpts from the year-ender issue titled We Bear Witness. The issue is dedicated to the people of Gaza and what they went through. Book excerpt The Dream of Peace by Ursula Janssen. Iranian-French photographer Manoocher Deghati arrives in Palestine in 1994 to capture key moments such as the return of PLO Chairman Yasser Arafat. In Eyewitnessed, Ursula Janssen chronicles Deghati's perilous journey. If I could tell the story in words, I wouldn't need to lug around a camera. Lewis Hine, 1874 to 1940. The Middle East, 1994. The Oslo peace process for the Middle East finally led to the signature of various peace treaties, including the Gaza-Jericho Agreement that was signed in Cairo by Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin and PLO Chairman Yasser Arafat in May 1994. It promised autonomy to Palestinians as well as Arafat's return from exile to Palestine. All parties involved showed great enthusiasm for the progress they had achieved. Arafat was planning his return after 27 years in exile. But no one informed the press how and where exactly this trip was going to take place. Would he arrive in Gaza or the West Bank, travel overland or by airplane? Only the night before the event did information leak that Arafat was going to travel by land from Egypt to Gaza, together with hundreds of other photographers and camera people, among them his friends and colleagues Alfred Yagobzadeh and Alexandra Avakian. Manoocher rushed to Gaza. They arrived early in the morning to Rafah, the border crossing between Egypt and the Gaza Strip. A platform had been erected in what looked like the middle of nowhere, and hundreds of chairs arranged in front of it. It was already awfully hot. Due to the many people who came to see Arafat's arrival, it was extremely dusty as well. People had come from all over the Gaza Strip, some on horse carts, riding on donkeys, or even on foot. The site slowly filled with spectators, and the heat got more and more scorching. Some of the photographers had organized hydraulic ramps, which gave them a better view over the otherwise completely flat plain. Nobody had a clue when Arafat was supposed to arrive, so they waited. At least they had brought enough water, even if it had almost reached the temperature of hot tea. All of a sudden, in the far distance, a cloud of dust materialized and quickly approached them along the road. Shortly after, they could hear the sound of the motorcade. Hundreds and hundreds of people simultaneously jumped from their seats or off the ground where they had been sitting. Chairs fell, were carelessly kicked aside to create a passage, because now everyone was running towards the border crossing where the motorcade had come to a halt. Manoocher and Alfred, though stayed where they had been, Manoocher held on to his chair with one hand so that it wouldn't be carried away by the crowd. When the site had emptied, he climbed onto his chair to get a better view. But he couldn't see a thing apart from a crowd in a dust cloud, not even with his 300mm telephoto lens. Or could he? What was that? Something was moving amidst the throng. For a brief moment, Arafat was lifted up, protruding above the surging crowd and stretching his arm up in a greeting. People around him cheered and formed the sign of victory with their outstretched hands. All of this hadn't taken longer than a few seconds before Arafat vanished again. For this and more, read the year-ender issue of Outlook.